This is Mindfulness with Richard Clarke. I focus on mindfulness meditation. Listen, reflect, and deeply meditate. Welcome. Today I will talk about enhancing emotional resilience with mindfulness meditation. Emotional resilience is a topic close to the heart of mindfulness meditation. In our life, we inevitably face challenges, setbacks, and unexpected twists. How we navigate these moments speaks volumes about our emotional resilience. So, exactly what is emotional resilience? It's the ability to adapt to stressful situations or adversity without lasting negative effects on your well-being. Essentially, it's your capacity to bounce back from life's punches with grace and strength. Here are some ways that mindfulness meditation can help. Cultivating presence. Mindfulness teaches us to be fully present in the moment, observing our thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations without judgment. This creates space between the stimulus and response, enabling us to consciously choose our reactions. This space is so important. It's the difference between an immediate emotional outburst versus a calm, reasoned answer. Acknowledging emotions. Emotional resilience involves understanding and accepting our emotions rather than suppressing them. Acknowledging our emotions allows us to process and move past them, preventing them from festering and causing long-term harm. For example, if you feel angry about something, but you don't ever acknowledge or express that anger, then eventually it builds up inside you and turns into resentment and cynicism. Once you acknowledge that you feel angry and work through accepting the circumstances and choices that cause that emotion, then you can let go of it and move on to a calmer emotional state. Taking responsibility for reactions. While we can't control external circumstances, we can take responsibility for our own actions and reactions. This sense of control builds emotional resilience, even in the face of challenging situations. There may be times when you don't feel proud of your own behavior or reactions. You can still build emotional resilience when that happens, though, by resolving to learn from your mistakes and make better choices in the future. Embracing impermanence. Mindfulness teaches us the transient nature of experiences, understanding that everything, including our emotions, is impermanent, helps us to let go of attachment and navigate change with acceptance. This awareness teaches us not to cling to fleeting emotions, but to let them flow through with acceptance. Developing self-compassion. Treating ourselves with kindness and compassion especially during difficult times, strengthens our inner resilience. Treat yourself with the same kindness and compassion that you would treat a good friend. Cultivating self-compassion fosters a sense of worthiness and resilience, irrespective of circumstances. Building emotional regulation. Emotional regulation involves effectively managing and modulating our emotions. By observing our emotional responses without being overwhelmed by them, we gain greater control over our feelings. We can do this by recognizing triggers, identifying situations, thoughts, or people that trigger strong emotional reactions helps us to respond calmly. Developing self-awareness, understanding our own emotional landscape allows us to regulate our emotions more effectively. Practicing acceptance. Accepting our emotions without judgment creates space for processing and regulation. And cognitive restructuring, challenging negative thoughts and replacing them with balanced perspectives helps navigate challenges with resilience. Strengthening connections is also important. Mindfulness fosters empathy and understanding, strengthening our social networks. These connections serve as pillars of resilience during tough times. Mindfulness meditation, as a part of your daily life, can significantly enhance emotional resilience, enabling you to weather life's storms with greater ease and grace. And now let's put theory into practice with a guided mindfulness meditation focused on improving emotional resilience. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes gently. Begin by bringing your attention to your breath, feeling the natural rhythm of inhalation and exhalation. Notice the feel of the breath as it enters and leaves your body. Now shift your awareness to your thoughts and emotions. Without judgment or attachment, simply observe whatever arises in your mind. Notice any patterns or tendencies without getting caught up in them. As you continue to observe your thoughts and emotions, bring to mind a recent challenging situation or emotion you've experienced. Allow yourself to fully feel it without resistance or avoid it. Feel it in your body. Notice thoughts and emotions associated with it. Now, imagine yourself as a mountain, strong and grounded, weathering the storms of life with resilience and grace. Feel the solidity of the mountain beneath you, rooted deeply in the earth. You are the mountain, able to withstand the wind and storms. With each breath, visualize yourself drawing in strength and stability, letting go of tension and doubt with each exhale. Feel a sense of calm and clarity washing over you, like a soothing balm for your soul. Breathe in strength. Breathe out tension and doubt. As you sit with this sense of resilience, remind yourself of your inherent worthiness and capacity for growth. You are strong, capable, and worthy of love and compassion, no matter what challenges you may face. Notice your inherent strength. Take a few more deep breaths, gradually bringing your awareness back to the present moment. When you're ready, gently open your eyes and return to your surroundings. And remember, emotional resilience is not about avoiding difficult emotions or experiences, but about embracing them with courage and compassion. With regular mindfulness meditation practice, you can cultivate the inner strength and resilience needed to navigate life's up and down with grace and ease. Thank you for joining me on this journey towards greater emotional well being. So, how was your meditation in this last week, Jay?
I was initially just enthralled with the helpfulness of the magician story,
Uh
and I
huh.
got a lot out of it. But it didn't stay with me as an ongoing reference point after about 3 or 4 days. So I need to keep coming back and learning to make this a foundation of every day.
Uh huh.
I same thing here. I think the mountain, and I like your metaphors and analogies. The mountain is something that will enable me to say it will. I struggle. I'm not aware of when I'm not being positive, and you've given me something here that can work if when I remember it in these really difficult moments.
Mm-hmm. Now, are you meditating every day?
I my one the biggest problem on my mind is that I don't sleep well, and I'm awake in the middle of the night, and that's either I can meditate well or I cannot meditate at all at that point. And I'd like to
Mm-hmm.
be able to get through that. And
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm frustrated and despairing and feel sort of hopeless. And this will help if I can keep focusing on the resilience through this frustrating. Sometimes I feel a little bit angry in period in
Mm-hmm.
the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm. Now, as you get started, one of the things that many people find useful is having a regular time and place. And uh, the one of the ways to get to where you are have daily meditation is to figure out how to make it a habit and use your mind's own kind of habit making facilities to make a good habit instead of a bad habit.
Yeah, it's always been a struggle for me. I need to keep that on my to-do list and keep working at it.
Uh-huh.
Life seems it feels to me like there are more demands on me than I can handle without creating more stress. So it, this is a growing edge is the best way I can put it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One advantage Carol and I have in doing regular meditation is we're there kind of to support each other. And that's
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that helps.
Sure it is.
And, I hope that this group can be a thing that helps support each of us.
I think it already is for me and it will
Yeah.
increase.
And you're not the only one who has trouble figuring out how to have it as a kind of scheduled, regular part of your daily life. So it's a common.
Sometimes I'm aware that I'm actually meditating at some level.
Mm-hmm.
much of the time.
Right.
But that's not really what we're talking about here. We're talking about a dedicated time.
Well, we're talking about the dedicated time. My own experience is the dedicated time starts moving towards every moment meditation. And I feel like the every moment meditation is really where the action is. We are alive and conscious every moment, and
Yes.
it's to be able to really notice and take advantage of that.
And it moves the center of our being to the place where we hold our values and our love and our compassion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I fluctuate so much from one side to the other. I'd like it to be more, not consistent, but more balanced, more less chaotic.
Uh-huh. Well, equanimity is one of the words I think
Yes, yes.
you used equanimity
Equanimous.
a couple of weeks ago, Barley.
Oh, yes, I like
Yes.
that word.
Uh-huh. And so that's a big deal to be able to do that. And that's to be equanimity is to be even minded in the midst of the storm
Mhm.
or in the midst of just being happy.
Yes. And to be aware of the impermanence of that and be okay with it.
Yes, yes, yes. Anyway, how about you, Barley? Good to see you back. And sorry
Yes,
you're struggling with internal stress.
yes. But all the time, all that stress was happening, I also knew that it was something that could be fixed eventually. It's just that I had to keep dealing with stuff and trying to figure out how to manage all this stuff. So, but
Uh-huh.
I think a lot of the things that I've learned in meditation helped me, through that, because I could then see that it wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't my health or my husband's health or anything. It's just, shit. Again.
Mm-hmm.
So
One
yeah,
of the
yeah,
most,
mountain. That was really cool. I like thinking of myself as a mountain. I'd never thought of that before. Good, good
Well, a
symbol.
mountain is a lot more solid than watching the clouds go by.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, But yeah, Jane's sleeping too. A lot of times at night, I don't sleep all night. So
Mm-hmm.
there meditation comes in. So you can get your head in a spot where it's not thinking all the time. If you just breathe,
Mm-hmm.
you get a little rest.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I'm
it.
Well, one
trying
of
to
the
be as I'm trying to be as friendly to myself, as you say, as I would be to someone else. And that's
Mhm.
where this will, I think that's where this will all come together.
mm-hmm. Very good. How about you, Carol?
Well, I was going to talk about the fact that 2 nights ago I woke up from this terrible dream where I was so angry, and I don't know. I've had this before where the emotion stays there even though you're awake and you know it was a dream. But I tried to work through it. Well, actually, I didn't try hard enough, and I wish I'd had this talk from today, Richard, because yeah, it was interesting how it just that emotion just hung on, even though I knew it was not even connected to anything real. It's really weird. But so even after all this meditation, I still need to learn that lesson.
Mm-hmm.
But we have been meditating fairly regularly. And Jane, if it weren't for Richard, I probably wouldn't be doing it. So it is good to have a partner. But yeah, so sometimes I think I'm moving along. Sometimes I just feel like I'm sitting there meditating, thinking about everything else. So
Mm-hmm.
comes and goes.
Well, you also have found that guy you listen to each evening with a guided meditation. So
Yes.
you found other resources that help support.
Yeah, absolutely. This guy, he talks about what Richard talks about in his other Zoom session, which is self-inquiry. And it's sort of like you have to sort of do the other meditation and get yourself calm before you can get into the self-inquiry. But this guy has really been helpful for me. So
Mhm.
when you guys are ready, I'll let you know who he is.
Mhm. Well, you know,
The thing about
oh, go ahead, Jane.
that I agree with you that acceptance seems to be the foundation for getting to where we're trying to be calm enough to make a focus on the right direction.
Hmm.
The thing that I've read and I've experienced is true that when I have a dream like that, and the emotion is so strong and it's like a child having a nightmare just to soothe them. It doesn't make it go away immediately. It's a biochemical thing that's going on, but it doesn't, the chemistry will resolve itself in 10 minutes. So if you can get yourself through that 10 minutes and not push
Yes.
yourself to get there more quickly than that, it might help.
Yes. Well, in fact, a few months ago, I was having this ongoing battle with the bank, and I kept calling them, and it got to the point where I would be on that phone with them for an hour and a half, and that chemical reaction would be happening for hours after, and my blood pressure was up and everything, and yeah, so it is definitely, and it's sort of scary because you think if you can get those, I guess cortisol is one of the bad chemicals. If you can get those without even like being awake, that's sort of frightening. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to me, with meditation, I've been kind of watching for in myself and in other people, uh, the way the mind works and how, when we're following along with the mind, it just takes us on these rides. And sometimes the rides are not any fun. And, I remember when I was about 6, I went to the Texas State Fair with my brother, and we were by ourselves and got on the big roller coaster. And as it went up the initial thing, I knew it was bad, and so I just hid in under the seat. And when it got to the very top, my brother yelled, "Stop! I want to get off!" And it's like that with our thoughts where we get started. And, once the train starts, you're going to go for the ride. So the point about this paying attention and the sensitivity to your mental and emotional flow is this is a way where you can stop the train before it goes over the hill. Because once it goes over the hill, you're going to take the ride until it exhausts itself.
I found that even positive stimulation send me on these sleepless nights. It doesn't have to be negative.
Right. Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. You're right about that. I know there are some things that I enjoy doing, like listening to Baroque guitar. And I've found that listening to Baroque guitar gets my mind churning. And the mind continues to churn even when I turn the music off. And it takes it a while for the mind to subside. And I don't like my mind churning like that. And it means I don't listen to as much Baroque guitar, which I love. But I don't love the churning mind.
Rest is so important.
Yes. Anyway, very good. And what we're all doing is we are all continuing to practice and to open ourselves up to ourselves and to the kind of deepest change that we can make. So one of the things that is good to do sometimes in practice is pat yourself on the back and acknowledge what you are doing because you're taking real action that brings long-term benefits. So stop and take a moment and feel good about yourself. When you stop and take this moment to feel good about yourself, then you're also encouraging your nightly brain growth to grow those circuits that are involved in feeling good.
Cool.
And I like to grow my feel-good circuits. Okay, so now we have a video, and on today's subject, this video is about emotional resilience, the art of not reacting.
Once upon a time, in a peaceful village nestled amidst towering mountains, there lived a wise Zen master named Hiroshi. People from far and wide sought his guidance on the path of enlightenment. His teachings were revered for their profound simplicity and timeless wisdom. One day, a young man named Takeshi arrived at Hiroshi's humble abode, seeking answers to his burning question. Takeshi was known for his fiery temper and impulsive nature, which often led to conflicts and regret. He yearned to find a way to control his emotions and react more mindfully. Hiroshi welcomed Takeshi with a warm smile and invited him to sit under the shade of a cherry blossom tree. He listened attentively as Takeshi poured out his frustrations and struggles. With a gentle nod, Hiroshi began to share a story. In a bustling town, there was a skilled samurai known for his unparalleled swordsmanship. His name was Kenji. One day, a loud and arrogant warrior challenged Kenji to a duel. Takeshi leaned in, captivated by the story. Instead of accepting the challenge immediately, Kenji took a deep breath and calmly replied, "I accept your challenge, but let us postpone it for a year." Takeshi was puzzled. Why would Kenji delay the duel? He asked. Hiroshi smiled and continued. Kenji explained, "You see, when someone angers me, my initial reaction is to strike back with equal force. But over time, I realized that such impulsive reactions only escalate the situation and cause unnecessary harm. By postponing the duel, I give myself an opportunity to cultivate inner peace and find a more compassionate response." Takeshi pondered on Kenji's wise choice and realized the deeper message within the story. "So, Hiroshi, you're saying that by not reacting impulsively, we can find a more peaceful and compassionate way to respond?" Hiroshi nodded. "Indeed, Takeshi. The art of not reacting lies in recognizing that we have a choice in how we respond to the circumstances that arise in our lives. Instead of letting our emotions control us, we can cultivate mindfulness and choose a more skillful and compassionate path." Takeshi's eyes gleamed with newfound understanding. "But how can I learn this art, Hiroshi? How can I control my emotions and respond with wisdom?" Hiroshi placed his hand gently on Takeshi's shoulder. "It begins with self-awareness and mindfulness. When faced with a challenging situation or an emotional trigger, take a pause. Breathe deeply and observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment. By creating space between the stimulus and your response, you can gain clarity and choose a more thoughtful course of action." Takeshi nodded, feeling a sense of hope and empowerment. He realized that the power to control his emotions and choose his responses resided within him. From that day forward, Takeshi became a dedicated student of Hiroshi's teachings. He practiced mindfulness and self-awareness, learning to observe his emotions without being swept away by them. Through meditation and introspection, he cultivated a deep sense of inner peace and resilience. Over time, Takeshi's fiery temper transformed into a gentle flame of compassion and understanding. He became known for his ability to navigate difficult situations with grace and wisdom, inspiring others to embrace the art of not reacting. As the years passed, Hiroshi's teachings on the art of not reacting spread far and wide. Countless individuals like Takeshi found solace and guidance in his words. The village flourished with a newfound harmony as people learned to respond to challenges with mindfulness and compassion. And so, the story of Takeshi's transformation and the art of not reacting continues to inspire generations, reminding us that we have the power to control our emotions and choose our responses wisely. In the stillness of our hearts, we find the strength to navigate life's challenges with grace, and in doing so, we create a world of peace and understanding.
All right. And now we're going to meditate. Mindfulness is present moment awareness. Paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally. Fully receive whatever is experienced. Then let it go. right. And we'll close with a chant. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Any comments or discussion or questions?
That was a great meditation for me. I was going back and forth between solving the problems of the world and then just breathing.
Oh, that's good. Which was better?
Well, they were both good. The solving the problems was sort of mixed with a little anger. But I think that we have to respond to the situations in the world too, sometimes in a way. I don't know if we can always just be silent.
Well, mindfulness is not about ignoring your emotions.
Okay.
It's about opening up and experiencing them and then being willing to let them go. After you've ridden that horse long enough, you can let it go to pasture.
I hope so.
Well, very good. It was a good session again, and it was good for me, and I hope it was good for you as well. And I'll see you next week. Good meditation. Namaste.
Namaste.
Sunday, I hope.
You want deeper meditation, more peace, more happiness. Subscribe now to continue to find ways to get more from your meditation.